Welcome to the GameMaker FastTrack. So here's the situation. You've got your player object in the room and you want it to do things. How? Through code, of course. Games are just long lists of instructions, and we're going to go through how those instructions work. First, variables. Variables are essentially boxes for storing information, usually numbers or text. Let's give our player object some variables now. Go ahead and open up your player object, then click here on Add Event. Choose the Create Event, and do not choose the drag and drop option. I know the idea of codeless programming is tempting, but ultimately you'd end up wasting way more time than you save. Choose the Code option, and an empty code window will open. In GameMaker, every object executes its assigned events under specific circumstances, so the Create event will happen at the moment the player object starts to exist in the room. Here, go ahead and write some variant of move speed, then set it equal to 5. Use a semicolon to signify the end of the declaration, and stick to a consistent naming scheme for your variables. You'll notice if you simply try to write speed, then it turns a different color. Speed is a default variable for objects in GameMaker, which means that it does something automatically. This may seem convenient, but it means we have no control over it. We'll be ignoring most default variables in favor of ones we make ourselves, so that we know exactly what we're doing. If you run into one, just name your variable something else. So now we know our player's move speed. How do we make them use it? Add a new event, this time the step event. The step event happens every frame, which makes it a great place to put things you want to happen over time. And now we're going to write our first real code. Here's what this means. First, we put if, and then check to see if we're pressing a certain button on the keyboard. This is what's called an if statement, only executing the bracketed code if certain conditions are met. Then, we add our variable moveSpeed to x, the default variable that determines our object's horizontal position. What does this all mean together? Let's play our game and find out. You'll see if you press right, your character will now move to the right by 5 pixels per frame. And the best part about code, you can reuse it. Just copy-paste what you've written, look for different keys in each if statement, subtract from x for moving left, add and subtract to y for moving down and up respectively, and look at that, you've got basic omnidirectional movement. Believe it or not, what you've just written is pretty much the raw essence of code. Making variables, checking what variables are, and altering them. Simple as that. There is one thing though. What exactly is this thing with the parentheses? Next time, you'll be learning all about these fancy little functions and how to make your own. See you then.